Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 236. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving it a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of SouthLawn Coffee Company. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by his story. Let's chop it up with Kenya Vinson. Kenya, how's it going, man?
Doing great, man.
Glad to hear that. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm here for you.
Yes, sir. We're here to talk about all the great things you got going on with SouthLawn Coffee Company. But before we talk business, let's get to know the man behind the brand. Originally from Montgomery, Alabama, how was your upbringing in the Gump?
It was great. I mean, I can't really complain about much. I grew up in Montgomery, born in Tuskegee, Alabama, raised in the Southlawn community, and attended several schools, Carver and Lanier, graduated from Lanier High. But with Southlawn, I'm representing the green and gold.
Okay, all good. So born in Tuskegee and then made your way to Montgomery. So just overall, would you say you had a pretty good village around you growing up in Montgomery?
Pretty good. Like I said, I can't really complain about my upbringing. Everybody has their ups and downs, but pretty much it was a positive experience growing up here.
Okay, good stuff. And that's all you can really ask for, just a positive experience growing up and just having the right village around you, family, friends, and all that good stuff. So love to hear that. So you graduated from Lanier. So when you finished up high school, did you go to college, military, or did you go to work?
I went to the military. I went to the Air Force, so I'm an Air Force veteran. And I spent some time in civil service as a firefighter, EMT, and then made my way back eventually to Montgomery to start Southlawn Coffee about 4 months ago.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. So just overall, how was that experience serving in the Air Force?
Kind of like childhood, ups and downs. I can't say I had a stellar career. I can't say I had a bad career, but it was 6 years of a lot of learning, a lot of life experiences.
Okay. And life experiences, exposure, and just getting a chance to learn new things and get exposed to new people. I mean, that's really what that's really what makes life beautiful. You get a chance to just, meet new people, get exposed to new things. So that's great that you were able to spend 6 years serving in our military. Did you get a chance to travel anywhere while you served in the military?
I did. Went to Saudi Arabia twice. Went to Egypt. Got to go inside the pyramids. Went to Germany, France, Spain, just different places. Spent some time in the U.S., uh, continental U.S. at different bases. So, I mean, overall, my travel experience was great.
Okay, sounds good. So you got a chance to travel a few places, and hey, that's great. I always love to hear those stories of people like yourself that serve in the military and take advantage of those opportunities to see the world and serve in our military all at the same time. So, of all your duty stations, which one was the most memorable? Like, which one can you recall? Like, you had the best time at?
Oh gosh. I think it was great going to Europe and Germany because like one weekend, or a few weekends, we would travel to different countries because they're pretty close by. You know, you would think like traveling from state to state here in the United States, but the countries in Europe are pretty close by, so you can get in the car, you can go from one country to another one in the same day. You know, just cruising around. So I got to see a lot, taste a lot of great food, drink some great wine and beer, and so I think going to Europe was the best part of it.
Okay, that's good stuff. So you got a chance to go to Europe, and it sounds like you engulfed yourself in the culture. You had some of the local cuisine, and like you were saying, drank some of the fine wine. So that's good. You got a chance to not only visit, but embrace the culture and actually get a chance to thoroughly enjoy the culture.
Oh yeah, I mean, seeing those photos in the history books from growing up, and then actually seeing some of the countries, the architecture and things of that nature over there, I was like, wow. I mean, this is really something.
Okay. Yeah.
Just taking you back in time, really, because I mean, a lot of it is modern, but some of it, the architecture is still there from, you know, way back, in the early centuries and all that good stuff. So it was really something to see because back then I was into going to museums and walking along the river and seeing the vineyards and eating pastries in the countries, just having a great time. So I would chalk that up as like the best experience besides going to Egypt and walking and going inside the pyramids over there. That was a great experience too because I never would have thought that I would have that opportunity. So I do recommend people that are looking for opportunity, maybe the military is the choice they should make. If they're looking for some direction early on, because I was 17, 18 joining years old. But I knew I wanted to, I wanted to have a longer career, but some things happened, not necessarily negative, but I just chose to go a different route because I did attend college while I was in the military, but I didn't get to complete my college while I was in the military, you know, just because I was so busy doing military things and firefighter things. And at the time I was married, so just going in so many different directions, it was just one of those lifelong experiences that I recommend people should try to take.
Hmm. No, that's awesome, and thank you for just sharing your overall military journey and just all the different places you got a chance to get exposed to, and just what the military was for you in those 6 years that you served. So, what are some of those lessons and principles you learned while serving that you may still apply to your life today?
Well, in the military, they teach you to be on time for appointments. So that's one of the things I try to do is to either be early and not be late, for appointments. So that kind of discipline and you know dressing the part, having our uniforms pressed and looking sharp, showing respect to your superiors or even your peers. So there's different aspects of it of life, that you would think that you would learn in your childhood or in your teens growing up, but the military, shows you a different way of doing things. So it was a great experience, learning that part of it. But I think I already had it in me, most of it. So that's why I was able to do 6 years. If I had a different job, I probably would have done more. I probably would have retired from it. But that firefighting and everything like that, it takes a toll on you after a while. Because I didn't think I would have to be deployed to foreign countries, travel to foreign countries as a firefighter or be gone as much because I was gonna actually join the Navy and be an air traffic controller, but I chose the Air Force because I thought I wanted a desk job,
Gotcha.
something just simple where I could last, 20 years, something simple, administrative, keep me inside. I didn't want to like run around in the field, but I had to do all that in the Air Force. So I was like, well, I think I had enough of this. So I just, not re-enlisting after the 6 years. I could have, but I chose to get out because I wanted to finish college. So I ended up coming back to Montgomery after the military and did a couple of little odd jobs. And I actually attended AUM as a theater major for one semester, and then went out to California to help one of my cousins out with his clothing line that he was working on. So I got to see a lot out there in a short period of time, like being behind the scenes in the movie studios and things of that nature. Because one of my friends that I had met when I was in the military ended up being an actor, an extra on one of the shows called Sister Sister with Tia and Tamara.
Okay.
Maori. So I was in the audience when he was filming that one episode, and Marcus Houston was there, and some other people were there. Like Keenan and Kale showed up in the audience to watch the. I guess they had finished their show, and they came. It was at Paramount Studios, and so we were like out there together. I didn't like say who I was, but I said, spoke to him, of course. But this was like in the late '90s, like 1997. But then I ended up getting back into the government as a firefighter in civil service after I, tried college, tried, the fashion business, some different things. And so I still, I had a daughter, I have a daughter. So I wanted to take care of my daughter, like I'm supposed to, you know. So I had to go back to working that full-time job with the skills, knowledge, skills, and abilities that I had as a firefighter for the federal government. So I did that for 17 years after my 6 years of military. So basically had a long career as a firefighter as a primary job, but I did as a firefighter usually like we have like on our off days we have like our own businesses or work different jobs. But that was my primary thing for up until 2016 is when actually I had my nonprofit called Feed the Veteran. And with that, I was looking to, it was a social services organization. I was looking to build homes for affordable housing for veterans, but I didn't get that far into it. And I ended up doing an early retirement from the civil service. So, long story short, here I am with SouthLawn Coffee.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you for sharing that story. It was a great story, and I was following along with everything you were saying. Just getting out the military because the job and the travel was a little too strenuous for you, and decided to try the college route and got a chance to go out to Cali and get some exposure out there, and then ended up back in the government as a firefighter. Just take care of your daughter, take care of your responsibilities, and just that entire journey. So. And that was one of the things that I did read up that you had spent over 20 years, spent 23 years as a firefighter. So you were a firefighter as an Air Force, and then you got out, and then you still became a firefighter. So just in all those years of serving, as a firefighter, what would you say? What was the most rewarding thing about that career, and what was the most challenging thing about the career?
Well, the most rewarding thing was I made the most money I ever made in my life at that time. And the most challenging thing, I experienced the biggest emergency that I thought I had to experience in my life. If you figure with the fire department, you're dealing with a lot of emergencies, a lot of tragedies, a lot of stress. But in '96, I was in a terrorist bombing in Saudi Arabia. So that really changed the whole, I guess, spectrum of my life, on a mental level. And the way I went about things, just being able to survive that event and help others, because I actually received an Air Force Commendation Medal for that. And you would think that being in a area like that, you're in a terrorist bombing, things happen. A lot of people got injured, like 300 people got injured, 21 people died. So it was, just very traumatic. And but we had to spend weeks after that, before we were able to come back home. So, there was a lot of soul searching and a lot of thinking, about the next move. So that's when I chose to not stay in the military, you know, as far as active duty anyways, because I did pursue short reserve career because I was going to be aeromedical technician, and that's like a flying med tech. And I had joined the reserves here at Maxwell, but then I transferred out to Colorado once I got a civil service job. So I kind of moved around a lot, trying to find my way. But eventually, still, I was a firefighter, and did what I had to do to take care of my responsibilities and take care of, my daughter. So that was the
Okay.
most rewarding thing. I was able to do that, make the most money that I ever, made at that time, and then take care of my responsibilities. So,
Yes, sir.
it allowed me to do that.
Yes, sir. That's amazing, and definitely thank you for sharing the most rewarding and the most challenging. And I mean, it's I can only imagine that situation that you mentioned that occurred in 1996 with the terrorist situation. Yeah, I could imagine how that type of situation could cause one to do some soul searching. And I mean, I completely understand, your decision not to proceed forward being active duty after that situation. So definitely understand that, and I appreciate you for sharing that story with us.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I
Yes,
don't
sir.
share that much with many people because a lot of those things still occur today.
Right.
with activities around the world. So just have to be mindful and careful out there, cautious, but you still got to keep on living. So that's one of the things I kind of, I live with and sticks with me from my past
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
experience.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's fine. I was done.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, man, man, it's all great stuff, man. And like I said, once again, thanks for sharing that. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about tonight. SouthLawn Coffee Company. So I'm big in the brand name, so I got to ask you, Kenya, what's the inspiration behind your company name?
Well, SouthLawn Coffee Company was named after the neighborhood where I grew up, south in the SouthLawn community on the west side of Montgomery, out here in District 4, west side of Montgomery. So that's where the inspiration of the name came from. I wanted to do something great and historical that I could give back to the community. So that's what we're still developing, working on every day and striving, looking at giving, uh, getting a coffee shop, physical location by the summertime of 2026, and then expand it from there. Hopefully, we can manifest a franchise situation down the road, but it's so early for us. 4 months in, we received a lot of great response for the brand and the name and the communities, supporting us out here in different parts of the city and also in the U.S. is from friends, family, and other support. People have been recognizing the brand and the name and myself from Facebook and doing any other interviews. So pretty much it's been positive. So it keeps us encouraged and keeps us moving forward. That's all we want to do is keep our energy up and keep moving forward to build something great and historical that can be a legacy for our kids in the future.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's powerful stuff, and definitely commend you for naming that the neighborhood you grew up in, paying homage to your roots where you grew up in. So yeah, it's very organic, very very organic way how you came up with the name, just paying homage to the South Lawn community and wanting to, like you said, build this company, give back to the community, and just leave a legacy for generations to come.
Definitely want to do that. That's why we're here. Want to do something for the city and the state and the country, not just because I spoke about this in some other interviews. I say it's not really about me or my story. It's about the community. Letting people know where we came from and giving something back and that can last for generations upon generations.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So of course, this is a very niche product, niche market. So when did you first discover you were a coffee lover?
When I was very, very small. I didn't know I was a coffee lover. I just snuck us in a sip or two from my grandma's coffee when I was getting it from the kitchen for her
Okay.
to be in the other part of the house in the living room. And I would go to the kitchen to get her some and a cup. And I'd take a sip, put a little sugar in there. I don't think we had creamer back then, but we just had sugar. Either you drink it black or you drink it with a little sugar in it, or
Okay.
lots of sugar for kids. And that's when I first had my first taste of coffee. And I was, I don't know, 4, if
Okay.
that. I'm not even sure, but I was small.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the fire department, we drank a lot of coffee. Working long hours and having for breakfast. And some people drink it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I call it some people. I even know some people that are. I was a flight attendant a couple of years back for a while for American Eagle, PSA Airlines, and one of my good friends that I still talk to. She basically walks around with her coffee mug filled with coffee day and night to have her cigarettes and her coffee. So I call that IV and coffee, like it's going in your veins then. Like he just getting too much. I guess it's good business, but I wasn't in the coffee business then. I had started, with two other brands, but I didn't have SouthLawn then. So we like those kind of coffee drinkers that want to drink it day and night. And she definitely does that. I think she still is an avid coffee drinker. But if I go past 3 cups in a day, I have a tough time sleeping at night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'll keep me up. I mean, no matter the caffeine level, it could be a little bit. If it's not decaf, then I'm gonna be up.
Right.
It's, yeah, kind of like tea. Because we sell tea also on the website and merchandise and like t-shirts, hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs. So at southlawncoffee.com
Yes, sir.
right now. Then we also have some some bags of coffee at Kudzu and Cotton at 155 West Main Street in Prattville that are available for purchase. And then we have offer free coffee at Kershaw YMCA on West Fairview Avenue in Montgomery, Alabama. So it's out there. We're just looking at getting that coffee shop up and running by summer, and that'll be a great look for us having that flagship location, and then building out from there, scaling out from there. So
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And appreciate you for sharing just that the background story, sipping grandma's coffee, and that was your first exposure to it, and then working with the fire department, and of course those long hours y'all work, coffee having to be the fuel to get y'all through those long, grueling shifts. So it makes perfect sense how you got introduced to this space. And I was checking out the website prior to us hopping on this Zoom, and I was looking at just the vast inventory, and I I've never seen that many different flavor of coffees in one place. I mean, everything from turtle, Mexican chocolate, Bali Blue. Southland Coffee Company got it going on. The inventory is pretty vast, very impressive.
thank you. Our roasters, they do a great job. The main thing about what I promote with the coffees is premium specialty roasted coffee. When you order it on the website, that's when they start roasting it, and it comes freshly roasted to your doorstep, home or office, wherever you're located. And then also, I was gonna add that you can smell the coffee when it arrives, like through the bag. It's so fresh when it arrives that it's just incredible. So I've heard nothing but positive things about it.
Right. Good stuff. So yeah, like I said, I was just looking at the inventory and looking at all the different flavors and definitely setting yourself apart as it relates to providing just a huge variety because a lot of the flavors, like I said, I've never seen them in a coffee flavor, the Dubai chocolate and the hazelnut. And I mean, well, I've seen hazelnut, but just the Dubai chocolate and just some of the other different flavors that I saw on the website, man. So yeah, I got a lot of great stuff rocking and rolling with the company. So whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. Take us back to your aha moment when you first had the idea to create this company.
The aha moment. Let's see. Um, I was actually on the phone with a company out of Las Vegas, and I had a list of names that I was searching for, for a new brand because I have my or bringing. I will bring back my Kenya Vinson Coffee Company brand and my World Tour Coffee Company brand, but I was looking for a third brand just for Montgomery, and I was going through so many, not a ton of names, but I was like, we were doing research like, trademark, internet, Google, trying to see what was already taken, what was available. And then just going on and on, making a long story short, I had that aha moment. I was like, SouthLawn. And, the guy that was assisting me, he was he's like, oh, that's available. And it was like, aha, you know, like one of those, that was the aha moment. So I was like, let's go with that. And then I got on I might have gotten on Chat GPT before that and type, how you use chat and create a logo. I asked for,
Right.
put my keywords in there. And the first time I put it in there uh, for a logo, it gave me my logo design. I was like, another aha moment. Like that's it. So the logo that you see, that was the first one. That was a one time look, that I went with, and people love that logo, and I love it. So that's I went with it, and then of course, SouthLawn, is about the community, really about the community giving back, for the legacy purposes. But all of that rolled into one, it's just gotten us to this point, you know, with coming up on the podcast and everything like that. That was long overdue. I know we were supposed to do it probably a month ago, but just scheduling and timing, we just had to get it done, today. So today's the day.
Right. Oh yeah, no worries. And I mean, yeah, as far as scheduling and getting it done, yeah, I understand things come up, life be life. And so when I initially reached out and the timing wasn't right at the time, I wasn't stressing. I was like, we'll have a conversation when it's time to have had a conversation. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's a perfect time. Like the stars lined up for this conversation because I'm actually talking more than I've talked on any interview, spilling all the beans. I was like,
Oh,
oh, this is cool.
oh yeah, no doubt. And I mean, that's my sole purpose. We just have a conversation, just talking about you and your brand and everything that's got going on. Because I mean, when it comes down to it, uh, people, people, I think people are more intrigued and invested into a brand when they know the story behind it. And I mean, well, at least I am, and I can't be the only person in the world that's like that. Like you, once you hear the story behind a brand, it just gets you more invested in it. And I mean, like you've definitely done a great job of just telling your story and how you got into this space. So I just appreciate you for just being transparent.
Yeah, I mean it's an enjoyable journey. It's a lot of work, and a
Right.
lot of work still to be done for what we want to achieve and where we like to scale to. But I mean, it's just like I'm enjoying the journey.
Right. And that's the key to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ebbs and flows, the peaks and valleys, the ups and downs, no matter what you're building, whether it's a podcast or a coffee company or a t-shirt brand. That's what all comes along with the journey. And that's one thing that I've just learned along my own journey. And I'm sure you can attest to it. I mean, everything that happens, it happens for a reason. It's either a blessing or a lesson. And you have to, your perspective on everything you're going through has to be right. Like versus saying, why me? When you hit a roadblock. What can I learn from this? What is this moment teaching me? Like in my opinion, that's the best way to keep going, having the right perspective.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've been manifesting over here greatness. We're trying to
Right.
do some historical things over here with this brand and with all the brands actually. Because I mean, everything is done for a reason, but I don't feel like my story is like uh, I guess it's kind of unique in a sense, but I just didn't want it all to be about me. I wanted it to be about the people here in the community, in the city, in the state. Something for them. To show that, this is where we all came from, and Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and Alabama itself. Giving something back to the state, and the city, and the community.
Right. Absolutely. So that next portion after the aha moment, let's talk about action. So from the time you realized you wanted to start this company, how long did it take you to get the LLC and all the business stuff situated and taken care of? How long was that process for you?
It was immediate because the person that when I was doing the search, because I had done the search before, and then I put it, wrote down on my pad some names, Google something myself, and then I got on the phone with the a professional that was doing a search on Google with me, and it was like you know it was like instant. We put it in right away to get the LLC done. So as soon as the name was decided upon by myself, it is immediate action. Basically, it wasn't any hesitation. Basically, like when I found the logo, when I just got the logo design, it was like immediate. That's it. It wasn't any second guessing it. Wasn't a second look. It was just immediate. Everything was immediate decision. So, like I said before on another interview, it was like, God gave me this idea. I'm not taking any credit for it at all. Any personal credit. Like this came from God because I didn't, I didn't, I was hoping that things would take off with it, but I didn't expect such a positive response, that's come about. So that's why we're just, keep pressing on and want to get this shop open for the people to come in to be able to sit down and enjoy themselves. Because that's the main question that I get when I'm out and about. It's like, oh, where are you located? It's like, well, we're online right now and we're in the store. You can get some try before you buy at Kershaw. But some people are like, I want to support you. I can't wait till the shop's open. So that's what we're looking for, by the summer.
Okay, good stuff. So the action, you got right to it, didn't sit around overthinking, overanalyzing. Like you said, God gave you the idea. I'm not about to mess up this opportunity, and I'm not about to be disobedient. I'm about to go on, make it happen and get to it. That's the mindset to have.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely got to do it. So I mean, it was like I've been, I believe in one of my things I do right now is like I'm not overly spiritual, I guess, but I do go attend church and believe in God and everything. But I believe in like manifesting also, like what you have in your mind or what you want, you can achieve. And so this is my third brand that I launched, but this was like the most important one. The other two have different meanings and different purposes. Like the Kenya Vinson brand was for the veterans, giving back to the veterans, supporting a nonprofit. That's really why I got into the coffee business because I had my nonprofit and I wanted to raise money for it, by selling coffee, having a for-profit business to fund the nonprofit. So that's why I got into the coffee business, besides being a coffee drinker.
Okay.
But and then the World Tour brand is more towards a global look where you have different varieties of coffee from different origins and taking you on a journey around the world through a cup of coffee, if that makes sense to you. But
Right.
then when I came across the SouthLawn brand, I guess I've been pushing it more, been having more success with it because people actually know what it. I don't have to do a whole lot of explaining with it. People are like, oh, I see what you're doing. I can understand. You're from SouthLawn. You're giving back to the community. Like definitely, it's all of that then some. But I was like, I cannot take credit for it. I mean, I'm giving all the glory to God on this one and family support and everybody else that's supporting it right now. But
Right.
I don't want to be the flash in the pan, like 2 years out of a row, like what happened to Southland Coffee, I want to just do things right the first time. So we're taking our time and working with a lot of different people, pulled in, actually being, you know, pulled in a lot of different directions as far as like uh, streams of income, possibility of streams of income that could come into the business, but just making the right choices isn't that easy. Like it may seem, but we're gonna get there. It's just staying positive and manifesting greatness over here.
Right.
For the brand, for all the brands and all the people involved in the community. So
Right.
that's where we are with it.
Okay, good stuff. And that's the mindset to have. Just, just continue to speak life of your businesses, continue to put in the work and just grind. Because it's one thing to pray, it's another but faith without works is dead. I so it's important to also know while you praying, you still have to be putting in the work. So it's just good to hear that you believe in God and you're manifesting over your business, but you're not just standing still. You're actively working and putting in the work. And I think that's what it takes versus just sitting on the couch and saying, "Hey, I'm manifesting this." You actually out there putting the work towards what you're manifesting.
Definitely have to put in the work.
Right. Right. And I only say that because a lot of times when I hear people say that, I interpret it as, okay, I'm just waiting on the sign and I'm just waiting for things to fall in my lap. I mean, I don't get that from you because I hear everything you're talking about that you're doing and actively doing. So that's just good that you continuing to put in the work, you're giving God the glory. You understand, hey, through God all is possible, and I'm never going to make this about me. This is about the community. It's bigger than me. So it's just all great, like just all the principles and everything that you stand behind. I mean, I just have no doubt that this brand is going to continue to grow and sooner rather than later become a household name.
Definitely, that's what we want because a lot of people recognize me from being on the news. For some reason, I was like, I didn't even know that many people watch the news like that. I was like, how many times did they run this interview or this the podcast or whatever? So I was like,
Right.
man, it's an incredible feeling that people are like, oh, you're. I was hoping to meet you and talk about this and talk about that. They ask me different questions. So I'm always able to answer them, but it's just like just different for me.
Right. Absolutely. No, and that's good stuff. So with everything on your plate, building this brand, doing great things with this brand, and I know you mentioned earlier your father and whatever other hats that you may wear, with everything on your plate, what do you do to decompress and get away from all the hustle and bustle?
Sometimes it's just having the quiet moments alone, you know, even if it's just laying in the bed, with the lights could be on, lights could be off, but no TV, just quiet times and just laying still for some hours. I won't say a few minutes
Right.
because just a lot of different things going on, pulling in a lot of different directions, whether it's family or even spiritually, you have the little what do they call them on your shoulders?
You got
You-
the angel and the devil.
yeah, not so much the devil on my
Well, I
shoulder.
mean, yeah,
But
my bad. What?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you have the either side, either way you want to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
those on your shoulders, and it's like, gosh, like, what am I gonna do right now? What am I gonna do different? What am I gonna do to make this better? So
Right.
um, just don't want to get burned out and stop working and grinding like you say and then leave the job incomplete. So I mean, I want to take it as far as I can and then turn it over to the younger generation. Leave
Right.
something for them. Not to do, but I want to build it up enough where they don't have to work as hard. So
Right. Absolutely. And that's great that you have those outlets to get away from the hustle and bustle. Like you said, just relaxing, getting some quiet time. And those decompressing outlets are very important because otherwise, if you're always working, you're always grinding, you will burn out.
yeah, mine's always going. Even in the middle of the night, I still, jumping on the computer, writing notes. I wake
Right.
up out of my sleep, and just have an idea and write it down. That's always important. A note to yourself while it's fresh on your mind. So even if you so feel like so tired that you want to get out of bed and make a note, a mental note, or write it down, then you should probably make it. Because I do that a lot. Jump on the computer, and because sometimes the orders will come in the middle of the night. I get a notification, so somebody placed the order at midnight. I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, yeah, so we didn't even do any interviews or ads on the TV or anything. So, and the order comes in. But a lot of people are, you know, supporting the business. I can't say how many, but I mean, it's a buzz going about SouthLawn. So I just want to keep it going, for a lifetime and then pass it on to the next generation and have them keep it going. So, um,
Right. Absolutely. That's good. Just hearing you talk about, just building this up and just continuing the momentum and continue to build a brand out. And that actually leads into my next portion perfectly as it relates to vision for the company. What are some short-term and long-term goals for the company you feel comfortable sharing?
Uh, Short term is getting that first brick and mortar up, and long term would be like doing a franchise situation and developing or diversifying our business model. And getting into more retail spaces. Because I have talked to some grocery stores and some mom and pop stores about getting in there, even a movie theater, the Capri Theater is interested in carrying a brand because they just started serving coffee over there. And I was at a Chamber of Commerce event, coffee with the chamber a couple of weeks ago, and I was out the door headed to the car, and these two people were standing reps from the Capri Theater. One was the director and one was the manager of the theater. They were like, oh, I guess they saw my name tag. Oh, hi Kenya. I was like, okay, maybe they saw my name tag. And I was like, yeah, how you doing? So we started talking and it was like, oh, we just started serving coffee at the theater. And long story short, I gave them some samples and I spoke with them today and they want to possibly take on the brand in a couple of weeks, at the theater to serve to their customers. So it's just, you don't know what, God has in store for you, where he wants you to be, unless you ask him, so it's just different areas that, people don't think about like, okay, why is SouthLawn at the theater? I mean, it's just another opportunity that presented itself. Or why is SouthLawn at the YMCA? Another opportunity that presented itself, but overall, uh, we want to be built to sustain, the ups and downs and, keep moving forward and not backwards. So more steps forward than backwards.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Those are great short term, long term goals. And just having this conversation with you, I have no doubt you're going to put in the work and make them all come to fruition.
Yeah, definitely. Because even family support, I mean, I didn't realize you don't realize who's watching you or listening to you. Even some of the younger family members have been watching and supporting. Coming out wearing their South Lawn t-shirts, coffee t-shirts, supporting the events. And even my sister, she lives in a different state and she has long conversations with me, my older sister, and she's like told me how important this was, for the family and for the community that, we get this right, right now, not, kind of mess things up whatever kind of way. I don't even know how to take that one. But I was like, well, things are going in a positive direction. Let's keep it going. But to, just, kind of reinforce things, on a different level. Like this is so important, this, that, this aspect of it. So she's listening in, some of the nieces and nephews are listening in and the cousins and just the whole, people that you don't communicate with every day are, listening in and paying attention to what we're doing and to let me know that, we're going in the right direction, that we did the right thing, selecting the name and the logo and the mission and the vision statements. So, yeah,
Okay.
it's an important mission we're on right now.
Oh, oh yeah, absolutely. And to that point you were making, you never know who's watching, and that's why it's important to put your brand out there, put whatever you're building out there, market it, and just put it out there. You just never know who you're inspiring. You just never know who's watching, and you just never know there's somebody out there that's looking for the product that you're selling. But if you don't put it out there and market it, how would they ever find you? So that's just great that you continuing to with SouthLawn Coffee Company out there through being on the news and podcast interviews like that, and just know everything's gonna continue to grow and flourish. As I wrap up the podcast tonight, I want to ask you the $1 million question, Kenya. I started this podcast because I wanted to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery. Whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work, you being a hometown hero, I gotta ask you, what do you appreciate the most about the city of Montgomery?
The history, the background of the city, I think is how its place in history is very important. From Dr. King to Rosa Parks to all the city leaders, even Mayor Reed. I had a meeting with him a month or so ago, and I let him, looked him in the eyes and said, "Hey, I want to be known as a Southland Coffee Company, be known as the official coffee brand of the city of Montgomery." I let him know that. So, yes, it means a lot being from here. With the great historical people that they call forefathers, foremothers, whatever our ancestors before us. So with Southline, we want to have our place also and make history. However that's seen, however it comes about, but want to do great things with it and just keep it going, for generations to come.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that's definitely something to appreciate about the city of Montgomery, the rich history, and just looking forward to seeing all the great things SouthLawn Coffee Company is going to continue to pour into the city, the community, and all the good things coming down the pipeline. So, Kenya, how can the people connect with you? What are your social media handles and website?
Social media is KenVinson on Facebook. And then we have Southland Coffee Company LLC on Facebook. And then on Instagram, President Ken V is in Victor on Instagram. And so also I have a Southland Coffee 01 at Gmail is my email address. So my phone number business line 404-683-5165 if you want to reach out to me to talk about the business, connect, collaborate, have any inspiration you want to share, feel free to reach out, call or text. That's how I can be reached.
Okay, sounds good. And of course, I'll put all of the information in the description of the episode. Hey, Kenya, thanks again for the conversation, man. I really appreciate
I appreciate you. Yeah, yeah. This has been one of a great inspiration to me. And this is the most revealing episode.
you.
I've done a lot of talking because I'm coming out in the Alabama Business Journal magazine. I think next month.
Okay.
I'm a, I'm not. I think I'll just be inside the magazine. I don't think I'll be on the cover, but um, we had a pretty detailed interview also. So it was, this has been the most revealing. Me, as far as me talking so much and about myself or about the company. So this is great. I enjoyed this one most.
Yes, sir.
Having the ability to kind of sit back and just reflect on life and some of the past, and it's like, oh, he does some things. Yeah, got to keep it going. With not just South Lawn, but just life itself. Keep on living and striving for better.
Yes, sir.
Like I
Absolutely.
put on Facebook yesterday, I say it's okay to dream and have hope for the future.
Right.
You
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
know.
definitely appreciate you. Give me a few minutes of your time once again and appreciate the conversation and just hearing everything about your story and your brand and much appreciated.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm sure I'll be in touch with you in the future. You'll be in touch with me. I definitely tune into the podcast. So we have to let's go from there. Maybe we'll get to do it again. I'm sure we
Yes,
will.
sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Guntown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Go on.